Trump is increasingly described as exasperated as the Iran war spirals with no clear end in sight, with reports noting his frustration that a conflict promised to last weeks has dragged on for months. Is Trump's war plan falling apart, with the White House in disarray over Iran policy as goals, timelines, and messaging keep shifting and key claims about the war have already unraveled? With no durable deal and no coherent long-term strategy visible, is Trump's Iran endgame now in crisis, caught between renewed bombing, a failed ceasefire, and dwindling options for a face-saving exit? After sacking or sidelining several key faces over the last few months, is Trump increasingly unhappy with his team's handling of the Iran file as internal divisions widen over how to proceed? The White House publicly denies reports of chaos and disarray over Iran, but an insider account suggests deep frustration and a split administration struggling to reconcile hardliners, negotiators, and the president's own impulses. President Trump has reportedly expressed growing frustration over the U.S. military options against Iran, complaining that the choices on the table either risk escalation or fail to deliver a decisive outcome. Trump was said to have lashed out at aides during a meeting last week, erupting at some of his top national security officials as they briefed him on the stalled Iran strategy, according to a report. A U.S. official told NBC News that Trump and his top aides are unhappy with the current situation in the Iran war, despite public displays of confidence from the White House. The same official said there was no unity inside the administration, as Trump's aides could not agree on a clear path forward or even settle on consistent objectives for the campaign. An unnamed official said, and I quote, "The president is exasperated. I don't think he believed it was going to be this difficult to get the Iranians to agree to a deal. There was not a real strategy for how long or what they should do to get to the end point. He did not intend this to be a long, drawn-out war. We have had a series of tactical victories, but are facing a strategic defeat without clear policy guidance or decision about where this is going." Unquote. White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt denied that President Trump lost his temper last week, rejecting reports that he erupted at aides over Iran war strategy. Leavitt claimed those reports were false and insisted that he has a great team whom he trusts, portraying the West Wing as unified despite insider accounts of shouting matches. Although, a U.S. official said that unclear war goals have made planning the Iran endgame difficult, with shifting objectives leaving commanders unsure what victory is supposed to look like. This comes as the U.S. military prepared for a renewed major offensive against Iran without fully clear guidance on long-term aims, even while forces are being readied for weeks-long operations. U.S. Chief Pentagon spokesperson Sean Parnell issued a statement to NBC News underscoring that the War Department is locked and loaded and prepared to execute whatever directives the president gives. Parnell said the U.S. War Department was locked, loaded, and ready to execute the directives, stressing that the force posture is designed to give Trump maximum options at short notice. Parnell also said that U.S. War Secretary Pete Hegseth and the CENTCOM commander were aligned on the campaign's operational plans, presenting a picture of military unity even as the civilian side debates strategy. After meeting Netanyahu, President Trump orders a fresh wave of military strikes on Iranian targets. Donald Trump ordered U.S. Central Command to launch fresh airstrikes on Iran, escalating the confrontation and raising questions about what could come next in the ongoing conflict. U.S. Central Command statement read, and I quote, "U.S. forces began launching strikes against Iran at 8 p.m. Eastern Time today. The strikes are a powerful response to yesterday's attempted Iranian attacks on U.S. forces based in the Middle East." Unquote. The CENTCOM statement further read, and I quote, "At 10 p.m. Eastern Time on July 29th, U.S. Central Command forces successfully completed a heavy wave of strikes against Iran in response to yesterday's attempted missile attacks on U.S. forces. CENTCOM assets struck dozens of Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps targets in Iran, including military command centers, missile and drone facilities, coastal surveillance and defense sites, and maritime capabilities. The strikes aim to further diminish threats posed by Iran and its proxies to American forces, commercial shipping, and neighboring Gulf countries. On July 28, IRGC forces launched multiple ballistic missiles from Iran in an attempted surprise attack on U.S. forces based in the Middle East. All Iranian missiles were successfully intercepted. More than 50,000 U.S. service members are currently deployed to the Middle East and remain highly vigilant, focused, lethal, and ready. Unquote. 3 explosions were reported on Qeshm Island, according to Iran's Tasnim News, raising fresh questions about the extent of damage caused by U.S. strikes. US strikes reportedly targeted locations in Al-Bardan, located in Iran's Khuzestan province, as military pressure continues to build across key areas. Additional US missile strikes were also reported near Avaz, Shadgan, and Avandkana, expanding the list of locations affected in the latest wave of attacks. Although, an Iranian official did not provide details on possible casualties, leaving the extent of the damage and human impact unclear. This comes as Donald Trump's warning against Iran appears to have turned into the latest series of strikes, marking another major development in the growing confrontation. Washington says it's now America's turn to respond as tensions with Tehran spiral once again.
On the attack, the drone attack on the LNG tanker off of Egypt, what can you tell us about that, and is there any indication it's Iran-related? Does it represent a wide...
I'll give you a report. I've been briefed. It's a little more of the same, but it's going to be straightening out. It's going to be straightening out. In the meantime, we're going to be hitting them very hard because it's our turn to hit them. They know it's coming. They're asking us not to do it, but they tried shooting it last night. So we had 5 rockets shot going 8,500 miles an hour, and all 5 rockets were knocked down to the ground. But they nevertheless took a shot, so it's our turn. And we'll see if we get there with an agreement at some point, but we're going to hit them very hard.
Iran reportedly fired first, prompting President Trump to authorize immediate retaliatory strikes. Trump's retaliation campaign begins with firepower after reports claimed Iran launched 5 missiles. After what officials described as a surprise Iranian attack, Trump vowed, "We got to smack them," before ordering a military response.
On what scenario do you see Iran attacking U.S. installations and personnel overseas and you withdrawing?
I don't see that. No, we're not. No, we're gonna hit them very hard. I mean, I can actually say that because there's very little they can do about it. It was a different group than we're dealing with. They've already apologized, but we got to smack them a little bit.
Mr. President, are you going to hit back when they strike?
Will I always hit back?
Yes.
Pretty much. Yes.
Mr. President, just a quick clarity on that, sir. Is that in response to the attempted ballistic missile strike on Jordan last night? When you say it's our turn to hit back?
Yeah, I think more so that, because it was another smaller event. But no, they sent 5 8,000-mile-an-hour missiles at us. And fortunately, we had our people operating the greatest equipment in the world, namely the Patriot system. Think of it, 5 missiles going 8,600 miles an hour, big ones, coming right at us, and all 5 were shot down. How about that, right? Pretty good. Nobody else could do that but us, yeah.
Trump also revealed American troops had only a few critical minutes to intercept the surprise assault before it reached its targets. Despite the fresh escalation, Trump insisted diplomatic talks with Iran would continue even as military tensions spiraled across the region. The remarks came after Iranian forces launched fresh strikes on US bases on July 28, while Trump was meeting Benjamin Netanyahu. The IRGC later released dramatic footage claiming to show ballistic missiles being fired toward a US airbase in Jordan. The IRGC says it launched ballistic missiles at a US airbase and a CENTCOM facility in Jordan on July 28. Iran described the strike as retaliation for what it called continuing American aggression against the Islamic Republic. The IRGC Aerospace Force claimed responsibility for carrying out the ballistic missile operation.